On the Russian coast, the first waves of the tsunami hit. The force of the water brushing these buildings aside. In Japan, the sirens rang out, and then a tsunami higher than 4 feet was detected as the waves moved along the coast. 2 million people were asked to evacuate as the country warned worse could follow.
Attention please. Attention please.
The warnings and the waves were caused by a massive earthquake in eastern Russia, measuring 8.8 in magnitude. It was one of the biggest ever recorded. Here, the front of a school building collapsed as the tremors hit. Despite the epicentre being in a remote part of the country, it has caused concern across the Pacific coast. In Hawaii, tranquility interrupted by the threat of the tsunami. Locals fleeing as traffic filled the roads. Authorities now say a wave over 5 feet high has been seen in Maui.
That means it can move cars, it will throw fences around. If it hits, it can dislodge trees. That's why you just can't be out there. The impact is at great speed. Any structure that gets loose and strikes an individual could take them out. And people can drown quite easily with the force of that kind of wave. So again, people have to really distinguish the waves we are accustomed to on the coast every day versus a tsunami. It's a different beast altogether.
The tsunami has now reached the coast of California, according to the US Weather Service, as more regions prepare for the impact of the waves.
The traveling speed of a tsunami pretty much is controlled by the water depths of the ocean, which we say epicentre, and they travel around like 700 kilometers per hour, which is like jet plane. And it's usually very small in the deep ocean. It's pretty quiet in the deep ocean, but once the tsunami wave reach the shallow water, and then the energy release will be in the forms of wave height, and the water will pile up and cause severe damage along the coastline.
Authorities and experts are still waiting to see the true force of this weather, in the knowledge the worst may not be over yet. Fred Dimbleby, ITV News.
Kay Thomas is a journalist for Hawaii News Now in Honolulu. She told us a short time ago how people reacted when news of the tsunami came through.
People were very shocked at first. We initially got the first alert at 2:45 that said that we were in a warning, and that gradually turned into we were getting notifications on our phones and our TVs that we needed to evacuate and that there was danger, people needed to move inland. Then we ended up getting notifications every hour. They started sounding sirens, and yeah, people were very frantic.
Kay Thomas speaking to us from Honolulu in Hawaii a short time ago. Our science correspondent Martin Stew has been monitoring the tsunami warnings for us and joins me now. The warnings have been, most of them, downgraded. Does that mean the threat's over, or are we still watching and waiting?
Yeah, but it looks like the threat of the worst, most severe tsunami has now passed. And as you said, those warnings in Hawaii, Japan and other places are now starting to be downgraded. But the reason this has been taken so seriously is the scale of this earthquake. 8.8 magnitude. For context, that Boxing Day tsunami, 2004, that killed 228,000 people, that was 9.2. So we're talking a really big quake, the 6th largest on record. And not all earthquakes are similar. So what happens is, as the oceanic plate, the Pacific plate, slips under the Eurasian plate, depending on exactly how it moves can affect exactly what types of waves there are. And we're not quite out of the woods yet. Firstly, there could be more shock waves, aftershocks rather, causing more tsunamis, and they can travel the speed of a jet plane through deep waters across the Pacific. And secondly, if those waves converge, they can actually build in power. That's why there are still warnings in place. And it may be often full 24 hours after the first quake that warnings can be in place. But touch wood, we are through the worst of it. The other good thing to take out of this is how things have changed since 2004, because there hadn't been a major tsunami then for 100 years. People weren't used to it. There's much more awareness. There are sirens. There are better alerts. There are floating buoys around the oceans that can monitor their GPS track, can tell exactly where these waves are moving. So there's much more information and there's much more education as well. So as and when people get warned, they're now taking the right action, and hopefully this time they haven't needed to.
Yeah, some really good news out of all that. Martin Stew, thank you very much. Thank you.